Thank you and welcome back. Judge Hutchins is participating with some of the groundbreaking as they've got local officials up there now, and we'll bring him on with us here on Around the County with Judge-Executive Tim Hutchins in just a few moments. But right now they've got a lot of dirt to turn. This event, again, has been one that's been longed for not a decade, but a few decades. And as you heard Kim Houston, she mentioned one of the, I guess you would call them pioneers of trying to attempt to get this day to become a reality as it has. As we also heard, there's a lot of things going on. The structure we're under, which is kind of a pavilion, I guess kind of similar to the pavilion at Kentucky Home State Park. It's going to become part of the park system in Nelson County, we are told. And this is a beautiful post frame structure, timbers structure, and hopefully that'll be salvaged out of this. What won't be salvaged but will be used until it's time to use a new indoor pool will be the park pool, which will be available throughout the construction process until probably a point. I'm sure there will be a point where they'll have to say we got to move on. We'll see if we can get Judge Executive Hutchins over here with us here in just a moment here on Around the County with Judge Tim Hutchins. Brought to you by Joe Hill Power Sports and Outdoor Equipment. And let's see, Dr. Ryan Clark, one of the neighbors, of course, of this facility with the Bardstown City Schools here today. You also heard mentioned, and we've talked before about the fact that there will be some interactions with programming from the Nelson County Public Library, another great adventure from this. See if I can get the judge's attention. We'll go ahead before we get the judge. I'll go ahead and we'll let Ryan Clark, Dr. Ryan Clark, the Bardstown Schools, just grab you right off the street, didn't I?
You did. You did.
Ryan, the facility right here next door to your facility, and as the mayor said, this is kind of the epicenter for Bardstown right here. Schools, parks and recreation, city government.
Yes, there's no doubt that students and different sports and clubs are going to take this opportunity and utilize it. Being able to walk across the street that's a real blessing to be able to be right next door to such an amazing spot.
You can walk over to exercise.
That's exactly right. Yes. Our swim team alone travels to Lebanon to practice. They're going to have the opportunity now to be right here to practice, so that means so much.
Yeah. It's one of those things, as I've said yesterday, you wish you could snap your fingers and it was done for a lot of reasons. One's timing, the other one is the construction process. Might get a little dusty, as Kim said.
Oh, goodness, yes. We know all about that. With construction going on over at right across the street. We've got lots going on over there, too.
Yeah, and you've got another major project underway. The facilities are just continue to improve, grow, and...
Yes. Yeah, we're getting started. We have gotten started on our high school renovation. Right. I'm jealous when the mayor said this is supposed to take 18 to 20 months because we're looking at probably a 5-year project for our high school because we have to live in it while we're renovating it.
Yeah, that is a challenge to do.
No doubt.
There's been a lot of help to the Bardstown school system from our state delegation, the state government, and others. Well, I don't know. It'd take longer than 5 or 6 years to do the things if you didn't have that investment, that buy-in from those governmentals.
Yeah, we're so fortunate. We just finished the Bardstown Polytechnic Center. That was a $10 million grant to get that underway, to take advantage of career and technical education. And now the wonderful gift we received for the high school renovation, over $21 million. So yes, we are able to continue to move forward because of those incredible gifts to us.
Indeed. Well, we thank you for taking time for allowing me to drag you.
Yeah, I'm so glad you did.
And visit with you.
Yeah.
Dr. Ryan Clark, Bardstown School Superintendent, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're here live. It is Around the County with Judge Executive Tim Hutchins. I've got him coming my way. And we'll hear from Joe Hill's Power Sports, and we'll be back with Judge Tim Hutchins. We are back, and joining us on his show is Nelson County Judge-Executive Tim Hutchins. We got to say thanks to our people here with one of the rental companies. We are using their power, because there was no power here. Obviously, construction people like to cut the power before they start digging, don't they, Judge?
I think you probably do. Yes, they do. We got call 811. I don't know if you ever heard of that. Call before you dig.
Another momentous day here. Last week we were talking about recycling and beautifying our community. Today we're talking about giving the people of our community, and our community is certainly Bardstown, which is part of Nelson County, and all of Nelson County, giving them what they've longed for a long time.
Yeah, that's, they've been working on this for over 20 years, and the city council and of course the mayor and the city councilman, they've been working on this project. It's, I don't want to take any claim to fame or anything out of it because it's a city project, but you could, it's a big project, that's for sure. It's going to be in the $40-50 million, they say, so hopefully it turns out well. Beautiful day out here today. Had a big crowd, so.
Judge, did I understand that the pavilion we're under right now, which will be coming down, will possibly be coming part at our own park?
I'm gonna use it out to Watts Park. They've got to get rid of it, so they called me, and it's in real good. We just got to clean it up. This thing, if you look at it, it's solid as a rock. But we're working on the county side. I've got my 2 engineers. We've been drafting up and drawing at Watts Park. We need to expand our baseball complex, and when we do that, we need to build concession stands, bathrooms, and all that to go along with it. Where the football complex is now and has been, Little League football is in the last year or two, everything runs through the high schools now. They run through the high school teams, and they organize the Little League football teams, whatever schools they go to. So they've changed all that in the last few years, and so they use the high school fields and practices and games. So that frees us up what was our football complex that we're using for soccer and everything else. But I told you this before, I think there's 21 T-ball teams using one field, for example. The last time I talked to Tyler Winston, he's our director that I've got on contract. He's big in that baseball and sports. And we were the second biggest charter in the state of Kentucky when it comes to baseball in the numbers of players. And we know that if we expand that park, the baseball, I think there's 6, we're trying to add 6 more fields and try to do some artificial turf and build another parking lot. Parking out there is, it's like everywhere you go, there's a limit. Luckily we own the land. If you have to go out and buy this $40,000, $50,000, $100,000 an acre land and put a parking lot on, it's pretty hard to do, hard pill to swallow. So on our end of the county side, we're trying to expand that baseball and softball and t-ball complex, and that's where this pavilion, go back to answer your question, this is where that would be at. It'd be a nice asset to it. So they had to do something with it, and so we got to take it down, take it apart, and
sounds like something you guys are.
I was teasing my guys over like, oh, so anybody's got a impact wrench and a ladder, and it's. Well, we'll probably have to, because the shingles will have to come off, but I'll probably, when we go back and do it, I'll probably put a metal roof back on top, to match what we're doing out there, stainless steam. So, anyway, I want to thank Joe Hill's Parasports for sponsoring this show weekly. We didn't get to, like I say, when you called me last week, utilize this space for let them have their airtime here, and then we'll come back. Now we've only got about probably 15 minutes here, but if anybody wants to text my cell phone at 502-249-0816, 249-0816, if you got any questions about basically anything, they can text me and I'll answer them.
And if you've texted the 348-2222, Ryan will pass those along to us here today on Around the County. Judge, disaster declaration has been signed off to on the state of Kentucky by President Trump. Any impact on our recovery and repair efforts in Nelson County?
Well, the first, we call it the first round, President Trump and then, of course, the governor and even myself, we all declared emergencies. And the first round, they call it, there was 13 counties that got in that first round. And I think there was a total of 30, there was 120 counties in the state. I think there was a total of 30 that it impacted. We did not, what I call individual assistance in the first round, but we feel pretty confident that we'll get it in the second round. And, you've heard me say, we've had teams and crews and staff and volunteers all out through New Haven and mainly Boston for the last 2 weeks, and supplies, and we've had all kinds of volunteers helping people clean up houses and on and on and on. And some of them, their insurances came in, and then, of course, several people don't have any insurance, and many of them don't have flood insurance, so they will be dependent on this federal assistance. But you have to be declared what they call individual assistance declaration. The county side, the county assistance, now that group did come in last week, and we met for about an hour or two, and then they went out and drove the county and all what I call the roads, hill slides, road slides, ditches, bridges, and everything that's impacted. And, what we think, what we have calculated on our end, it's over a $2 million impact just to the county infrastructure. So, but then you got to go through all the red tape, and I hate that word, but what it is, and we're trying to push and fast track. And I got Senator Higgins and Candy Mastroni and everybody that we got our contacts with, Rand Paul and of course Massey and Guthrie and everybody. I don't know if it left anybody out, but they're all trying to help us get this faster. I met with Britt Guthrie last week, and we're trying to fast track as much as we can. So I feel confident that we'll hopefully get these. If there's any declaration, I would mostly prefer the individual assistance for a lot of these people that need it. You see it on TV, but until you get in there and witness it, we had to evacuate or rescue 66 different people, and it's affected like 50-something homes, and the drywall and the mess and the water and the dirt and mud and appliances, and until you sit there and see it, there's you don't realize how bad it is. So I'm hoping they get that first. Hope the county gets something, but I prefer and hope and wish for them because they need it so desperately. So we're working towards it. It's been an ongoing project and battle, and we haven't given up. We still got supplies at the Boston Community Center that we've, if anybody that needs anything, or I'll give this number out again today, 348-1800, 348-1800 if anybody's needs any advice, assistance, emergency, they call that number, and we'll try to get them to the right, right group of people. So it's been a dang on tough winter, ice storms, and used a lot of salt. To fill our salt barn up, we haven't done that in a few years. That's going to be another $80,000 to $100,000, and it's been a lot of overtime. It cost the county. Cost us a lot of money, and but it's been a tough winter and tough spring.
Judge, I know you're working on drafting some type, I'll call it ordinance legislation or ruling that would assist in trying to get homes and businesses cleaned of the mold issue.
Well, I talked about this about probably 2 years ago now. It's about 2 years ago when we met and talked to different groups about establishing a cleanup policy, Nelson County cleanup. I talked to my friend Judge David Daugherty in Marion County, and they've got an ordinance that it actually goes through a nonprofit. It's a 501c, I think it is. And then you got your, policies and provisions in there. Then you have people try to get donations from, all businesses and anybody wants to help donate. we call a cleanup fund, and cleaning the houses. And you just look around here. I mean, you look up and down the road, signs, landscaping, basically any and everything in the county. So that's one of my goals, is to get that. I hope in the next month or so we'll get that. I don't know if I get it finalized or not, but we're going to start it. And then when I do that, just to tell you part of it, we have 4 inmate crews, I call it. We're going to start the 5th one. I've talked to Justin Jailer today, Justin Hall, and then Brad Spalding at the road department last week. We're going to put a 5th team on. 4 of those supervisors are paid for through what we call a landfill cleanup grant and through the commissary fund at the jail. Then about one more, the 5th one, that we'll have to pay for it out of our revenue. It's about another. It's part-time positions, and but there's a lot of roads to clean up. And then when we do this cleanup side, we'll coordinate that with this crew, and then we'll have people established where they can donate money and get money. And you have to go through a program, and a lot of people just don't have $300 or $400 laying around extra to clean their homes, and I'm not going to sit here and pick on the distilleries, but hopefully they'll jump in and help their part too. But it's not all their blame. But then I'm working on.
Our Kiwanis Club last night got to do a little roadside cleanup.
Y'all did, yeah.
Compliments of the Nelson County Fiscal Court, and the thing that we enjoy doing. Not necessarily as much for the money as it is for doing a part to helping the community a little bit.
Well, it's like a 3-pronged approach. I met this young lady last week at our courthouse event, the cleanup, Nelson County cleanup event, which was really good. Had a lot of people there, and she's got another group that she started cleaned up, all kinds of roads. And you take what we do with our volunteers that we've got through that program, like Kiwanis and men's clubs and whoever, they take so many miles. And then you've got our, our inmate programs that's cleaning up roads. I'm trying to compile it all and have a 3-pronged approach. So, matter of fact, I just talked to one of my assistants today, Madison, and she's reaching out to all the churches, and I'm gonna have a contact with all the churches and invite them and encourage them to take so many miles of roads, and then I'm going to meet and I'm going to reach out to all the industries and businesses and commercial. We're going to try to, especially even the big ones, where they can, if they want to help keep the county clean, we're going to encourage them to take so many miles that we can. So here's the problem: we clean up like now. You can't do them all at one time, but it needs to be having like a mass cleanup coming out of the winter. And then we need to go back, during the summer. Then you go back in the fall. So we can't do it all with our crew. So we got to have all these volunteers and everything. So if we do that and they have this cleanup program with cleaning up the homes and signs and all that, it's like a 3-pronged approach. So I think it's going to be good. It's just going to take us a little bit more time to get it finalized, but it's just it's part of what they're doing here today. I'm going to get this Nelson County Agri-Science Center going at the fairgrounds. That's a big project for the fiscal court. And then the baseball complex. It's just an ongoing, it takes a lot of money. At the end of the day, you got to have some money to do it all. So we're working on all these projects, and hopefully there'll be a lot more activities for the community to do, and kids and families and so on. So,
Judge, a text came in. A person wanted to know if the people outside the corporate city limits of the communities can put limbs and branches next to the roadway, and mentions it like can do in I think Bardstown. You call them, but kind of the roadside cleanup that's what that was all about. This year accepted branches and limbs.
Well, we did the what we call the roadside cleanup. We call it bulky item cleanup that we do. The fiscal court with our landfill and solid waste, we do that in the road department, once a year in the spring, and then we've already completed that, and this particular year we did we added the trees and limbs and so on, and we did that, countywide. At this point, you can take them. Well, they can just call 348-1800, and they can. They want to lead them to the right place. They can haul them down to what we call the old quarry. That we take limbs. We don't want to take it to the landfill because it fills it up so much quicker. We take all these brush and limbs and all that, and we allow people, they can take them to our old quarry. Now, we can't go out around and now continue to pick up stuff individually because we just don't have the time. We did an extra cleanup for Boston last week, and then we'll probably announce another one here in 2 or 3 weeks to help all the people down there. We've provided individual boxes for the people in Boston. They got to be affected by the flood. If they need some roll-off boxes, the fiscal court approved that 2 weeks ago, I think it was, and so we've tried to make extra provision for the people that's in this disaster situation. But
I believe we still have the tire collection day coming up in May.
That's I don't know if you got that data. It's in May. It's on our Facebook pages, fiscal court Facebook pages, and probably on your site. The tire amnesty. We got a program through the state that we'll take them, collect them, and haul them, and at no cost to the public. So, yeah, there's a lot of cleanup going on. There's a lot of different programs. So,
Judge Camp, got to ask you, are we out for bids now again on the HVAC at the visitor center, or is it?
Well, you see, today I didn't come dressed properly. I didn't have a jacket for these events. I always they say if you're going to act professional, you got to look professional, Ross. So I usually try to have a jacket or something on, but to be point blank about it, it's so damn hot in that courthouse, and I started wearing a short sleeve shirt, and I'm upstairs, and
hot air rises, doesn't it? Yeah.
It's pretty warm, and so I think we've rebid it, and it comes open. I think it's April the 30th. So what is today's date? I don't even know what today is. It may be tomorrow that we open the bids, or maybe the 1st, whatever. Anyway, that's soon. And then when the bids come in, I've been working on the budget. Our budget has to be submitted by. Actually, I got a special meeting tomorrow night. We got to pass it out to the magistrates the first time, and then we'll review it in a couple of weeks and start, digesting and tearing it up, and everybody get their opinions and see where we got it. We're in good, solid financial shape. We don't have a lot of excess money laying around. By us cutting the tax rates the last 2 years, the people, we talk about it, but it affected our budget about. Right now, we've left on the table about between $600,000 and $700,000 by not taking the full 4% the last 2 years. And I could show them, and the proof's in the pudding. But that's what I campaigned on, and that's what I promised, and that's what I've done. And this fiscal court has supported me, and so we've actually cut the tax rates, and we have left some money on the table. Now, with that being said, I've said all along, I think fees and taxes are two different things. The people that's using a department or whatever division of the county it is, I think our fee structures need to be adjusted to take care of and be more self-sustaining, and that's what we've attempted to do. So it's working pretty good. It's been a work in progress, and so far I feel good about it. I think we've just the Commonwealth Attorney and the Division of Licensing that we're remodeling now, we're doing all of that, and that'll be paid off. It's actually, we're not borrowing any money. We're transferring some internal transfers to pay it. We're not borrowing any money. In 5 or 6 years, or probably about 6 years, that'll be paid off. And that'll be actually a revenue stream for the county. So, that's a pretty good capital expense. And we bought some land out at behind the senior center there last year that was from the Kelly family. That's a good capital expense. Without being critical, when I got elected, there's just a lot of wear and tear, and things just in not really good shape. So we've had to shore up some things and do some work to get things back in par, and we're getting closer. And gonna do a little bit more. We've been at
Well, Judge, we got to
different things.
bail
so,
out of here, getting ready for news. I want to thank you again, and you obviously thank Joe Hill's Power Sports Outdoor Equipment for making this show possible. And thank you very much on behalf of our listeners for allowing the first half of this show to be this monumental day.
Thank you, Ross. We'll see you next week.
You bet. That's the show Around the County with Nelson County Judge Executive Tim Hutchins. It's all brought to you by Joe Hill's Power Sports and Outdoor Equipment.